Translation Prabhupada by His Divine Grace, Adi Sri Bhaktivedanta Swami Śrīla Prabhupada Ki. My dear Lord, we pray that we may never feel attraction for the prison of family life, consisting of home, wife, children, friends, bank balance, relatives, and so on. If we do have some attachment, let it be for devotees, whose only dear friend is Krishna. A person, wow, you know everything. A person who is actually self-realized and who has controlled his mind is perfectly satisfied with the bare necessities of life. He does not try to gratify his senses. Such a person quickly advances in Krishna consciousness, whereas others who are too attached to material things find advancement very difficult. Purport. When Śrī Caitanya Mahāprabhu was requested to explain the duty of a Vaishnava, a Krishna conscious person, he merely said, asat-saṅga-tyāga, vaiṣṇava-ācāra. The first business of a Vaishnava is to give up the association of persons who are not devotees of Krishna and who are too attached to material things, wife, children, bank balance, and so on. Prahlāda Mahārāja also prays to the Personality of Godhead that he may avoid the association of non-devotees attached to the materialistic way of life. If he must be attached to someone, he prays to be attached only to a devotee. The devotee is not interested in unnecessarily increasing the demands of the senses for gratification. Of course, as long as one is in this material world, one must have a material body, and it must be maintained for the execution of devotional service. The body can be maintained very easily by eating Krishna Prasad. Gosh. As Krishna says in Bhagavad Gita 9:26, Pacham pushpam parantoyam yome bhakta prayachati tadaham bhakti obaitam asnami praitatmana. If one offers me with love and devotion...
Just one question. Shall I cool it down or you want it warm?
What is it?
This is pasta.
Pasta salad.
For going.
What's... I don't know.
Or do you want to eat it now and kitchen later?
No.
Wait.
Okay.
Pasta is later, okay.
Because we don't have any heated containers, so it doesn't matter. You can just let it be, or better to cool it.
Cool it?
Just leave it, and whatever it will be, it will be.
Okay.
Whatever it be, will be.
What is this?
Yeah, why should the menu be unnecessarily increased? For the satisfaction of the time.
I told you.
Yesterday. Devotees should eat as simply as possible. Otherwise, attachment for material things will gradually increase, and the senses, being very strong, will soon require more and more material enjoyment. Then the real business of life, to advance in Krishna consciousness, will
be hampered.
Stopped.
Ooh.
Stop. Yes.
Okay.
I didn't choose this. It's random. But there's no accidents. Om Gyan Tivedandisya Gyana Shalakya Chakshumitam Yena Tasme Śrī Gurave Namaha. Śrī Kṛṣṇa Caitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shivaita Gadadhara Shivasari Gaura Bhaktivinoda. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Yes, to be around non-devotees is very dangerous. One should give up such association. So, there's a verse saying, more dangerous than association with women is association with those attached to women. So Keshav Maharaj likes to twist it, make it positive. He says, more dangerous than associating with Krishna is associating with those attached to Krishna. So that's the positive side. But yes, it's they're you get affected by their desires, by their wants like this. Even just being, you can feel it comparing, being in the holy Dham and then being outside. You get affected by people's mentalities. I remember being on during the lockdowns, and I had the van, and I was traveling. I pretty much became an ISKCON criminal for doing Harinam during lockdowns. Many devotees were unhappy with me. So my spiritual master advised me to get a van and go to country towns where there's no devotees and preach, do books, Harinam. And I was away from temples for months on end, and I was just feeling am I the only one left? It just felt like I wanted to see someone with tilak at least, on their forehead. I felt what are these people doing with their lives?
Hello, Moto.
Sorry.
It's okay. It's just they look like they have everything. Especially, they have they live by the beach. They have many cars, motorbikes, boats. They have a family and children. It looks very nice. Looks like everything is sorted. Once you meet them, then you just scratch the surface a little bit, and everything is a problem. Things like miscarriages are taking place. They have arguments with their relatives, with children. Children don't agree with the parents. They run away from home. If they try and have a boyfriend or girlfriend, it's all based on sex, and only can last, the pleasure can only last for so long. And then they runs out of juice, and then there's divorce or separation. It's really a tough situation, even though they do have everything, suffering a broken heart. Whereas devotees, or those who are practicing Krishna consciousness, they are fulfilling their hearts by connecting to the source of all pleasure, Akila Rasamrita Murti, the reservoir of all pleasure, Krishna. They are trying to develop attachment to Krishna. And obviously the most easiest way is to be in devotee association. Association is so powerful. If you want to become a drunkard, just go to the pub, hang out with the drunkards. Even though you never drank in your life, just by hanging out with them you'll become. If you want to become fit, hang out with Jagannath Sutta. He's always doing some fitness activity.
Didn't rub out for me.
Yeah, you like to run.
That's good.
Yes. Father. Yes, his father likes to run marathons, so he's into running. My father used to be a bodybuilder. That's why I'm so ripped, No, he became a devotee first in the family, and then it was me, my brother, and my mother. We didn't want to be devotees, but just by his association, he would always make sure he was just around me. So if I wanted to go somewhere, he goes, "I'll drive you," and it would be for half an hour. He would preach to me, and I didn't know it was from Hare Krishna. I thought it was his own knowledge, because it sounded very practical. It was about the world and how things work. But he'll say random things he'll talk about Varna Ashram. He'll talk about how this feminism is actually women trying to be men. He'll talk about we'll drive into a street. Actually, I worked in a bar for 2.5 years. He would drive me there to work. I started 9 or 10 o'clock. He'll drive me there, and then he says, don't try and stay anywhere like this. Call me when you're done. I'll finish work 4 a.m., 5 a.m. He'll drive and come pick me up. And he'll preach me all the way. And every time we come in the street, he goes, "This is all Maya." And I go, "What's Maya?" And he goes, "It's illusion." He says, "If I was the president of the country, I'd close down all the bars." And I go, "Dad, no one would vote for you then." So he was preaching to me, but I didn't know it was Hare Krishna. I said I agree with what he said, but I couldn't follow it. So eventually it came to the point where my life that I was living, I could see that it was all like a facade. You know, it's like, is this really real? You know, the job that I'm living, or the friendships that I have. You know, I had a girlfriend time. Does she actually like me for me? What happens if I just start revealing the bad qualities? You know, the things that I wish she still loved me. Is this real love? So I tested it. Obviously, it didn't work out. You know, and then suffering a broken heart. And I remember when I was with her, Krishna tricked me. Krishna always tricks people. We never choose to become devotees. So I was complaining to her that I didn't understand my father. You know, he was always reading the Bhagavad Gita. I don't understand my culture and stuff like that. You know, he's always reading this Bhagavad Gita, and she goes, maybe you should read it. And I go, nah, because I looked at the cover and it's like, it's all about war, you know. Nah, I don't want to read it. She goes, no, you should read it. So I went to my dad, I go, can I read Bhagavad Gita? And he goes, yeah, sure. I read the introduction, only 7 pages, and closed it shut. I don't know what I read, but my conclusion from what I read was that everything I'm doing in my life is completely wrong. Whatever I'm trying to achieve in life, wrong. And then I went back to my girlfriend. She's like, what's wrong? I go, I read this Gita and it's saying I'm doing everything wrong. You know, and I only read 7 pages. She said, maybe you should read the whole thing. And I didn't touch it for like another year. Eventually we broke up. And I understood that I was the bad person. I didn't understand what was true love. The only thing that said I was a bad person, my friend said, you're a good guy, get another girl. My brother said, you're a good guy, get another girl. I said, no, I'll do the same thing in those relationships. The only thing that said I was a bad person was Bhagavad Gita. Went back to my dad. Can I read the Gita? And he goes, go ask your mom. And my mom gave me Science of Self-Realization. And apparently that book was designed for me, because they went to the Sunday feast and the Mataji giving class said, this book changed my life. So they go, okay, we're going to buy this for our son. And I was reading it, and the same thing happened. It felt like Prabhupada was slapping me, you rascal, pang, pang, like this. And I remember what she said, maybe you should read the whole thing, what my girlfriend said. So I just kept reading, powering on. Pretty much 6 months later, I moved into the ashram. And I finished my degree, I moved into the ashram, and I was thinking I'll do 2 years and that's it. Now it's much later.
Where was that?
In Australia, Melbourne, Australia. Yeah, it's like, I was, 18 years ago. And here we are. So, I mean, association is so powerful. It doesn't matter how deep embedded in material life you are. It doesn't matter how strong-headed you are to achieve all these things, to get a beautiful wife, children, bank balance, and so on. Devotees come into our life and they just like turn it 180. This is the power of devotee association. Another story I remember, like, I was going to uni into the city, and so you take the train and then you pass through the train station, you go to the university. So I remember seeing a person, and he was handing out like big books. So obviously it was like Bhagavad Gita. No one else hands out books on the street. He wasn't dressed in dhoti or whatever, but I didn't conclude he was like a devotee. And he seemed like happy, and he was like putting out books like out like that, big ones, you know, like Gita. So I was thinking, okay, he's putting out books, and then I saw someone just grab the Gita and then walk off, and he started chasing after him, and I felt sorry for the guy. I was just thinking like, hey, how can you think such a big book was for free? You know, and I felt sorry for the guy. So even just devotees being out there, people see a devotee and they get purified. Another time I was meeting a girl in the city, and my dad was telling me about how devotees go on the street doing books. And I was upset that my dad was so rigidly religious in this Hare Krishna thing. I was like, no. And he told me how they like go on the street and give books to people. And then we got stopped by one guy, and he's doing books, you know. And it was funny. I was holding the girl's hand in one hand, and I was holding a book in another hand, like this. And he goes, "Yeah, we're selling these books, this and that." I go, "You're Hare Krishna, right?" He goes, "Yeah." Okay, I'm not gonna take a book, but I want to understand your philosophy. I want to have a discussion right now. I was really aggressive, you know. And he's like, but you can take I'm not taking a book. You tell me right. Like, it was really heavy on him, you know. Yeah, I'm telling you right now. And
Here's the philosophy.
You know, I want to know the philosophy. So he don't just take the book. Not taking a book. Just have a discussion right now. And the girlfriend felt sorry for him. She goes, "No, leave him alone. Let's go." "Shut up! I want to know it." And he got so fried, he just took the book and left, you know. And she's like, "Why'd you yell at
He
him?"
didn't
Like,
tell you anything?
no, he was fried. So then, okay, so later on, I became a devotee.
You met the guy.
And we're in New Govardhan, and there's a book distribution seminar by Rupa Raghunath Prabhu, right? And we're all standing in the group, and he's showing how he does books. He's so good at it, you know, how to like warm someone up to take a book. And then he said, "Okay, I want you to get into pairs, and I want you to share your Sankirtan stories, right?" And then, okay, we pair up with random devotees. I don't know anyone there.
It's random.
And then the guy is there, and he looks at me and smiles. I look at him. I was like, "Oh man, it's you! Oh, I'm so sorry. I'm so sorry. I didn't mean to do that." That time I had dreadlocks, so I looked different. But like for some reason, it clicked that I recognized that it was him. That he was trying to distribute a book to me. "Oh, I'm so sorry. You know, I was indifferent. I'm so sorry. You know, like you're trying to save me. You know, I would have like saved so much trouble." And he goes like, "Actually, that was the first time I ever went on books." It was like, I think it was like marathons, so they're encouraging everyone to go on books. And then he went, first time in books, first guy he met was me. And I fried him out completely. And he just went back to the temple. And I go, "I'm so sorry, you know, you tried to save me, and I did this to you, and you know, but look,
It worked.
I'm here now. You're good, you know, it actually worked. You tried to save me, I made it, you know." So even if they don't take a book, even if they're not favorable, the devotees are like beacons, you know, they're like fire. You go next to a fire, even if you have knowledge of it or not, it has an impact. You know. Devotees are very potent. Prabhupada made it that way, that you become, this is a preaching movement. Everyone's supposed to be a preacher. I think it was St. Francis of Assisi, he said like, all day I preach, and then sometimes I say something. So just by us doing some sadhana, hearing the Bhagavatam, chanting our rounds, taking Krishna Prasadam, we become beacons of mercy. We impact people's life in a big way. I'll do another example. I'll do my own example because it's very embarrassing. When I saw Harinam first time, I hated it, actually. I was like 10 years old. I thought these guys are useless. They're not helping anyone. And, you know, they're just white people who are smoking ganja and in a sex cult, you know, because I watched some documentary and somehow they put Hare Krishna in it, you know. And I was like, you know, I look at it and I can't even play a drum as if I knew how to play. But I mean, it went in. That seed went in and it fructified somewhere else. So do not think that whatever efforts that we're doing is going to go in vain. It'll make an impact and it'll fructify. So we should always keep trying. Padam Vijayate Śrī Kṛṣṇa Sankirtan. It's always going to be victorious. They'll try and defeat the demons empowered by Kali, so-called, you can call them Illuminati, whatever. They're capturing everyone's consciousness. But they do it through the mind and the senses and the intelligence, using like old technology and whatever else, to encourage people to engage in the four sinful activities: meat eating, illicit sex, gambling, intoxication. All these things. Meat eating keeps you dull, you become desensitized to other living entities. Taking intoxication, you can't perform any austerity at all, and you just dull your brain more and more. Illicit sex, that makes you impure, and even those who are not engaging in the physical activity, pornography is widespread. 99% of the internet is pornography, actually. And now with the phone, it's on full high demand and high supply, and they're getting into it at really young ages now, much younger. So it's destroying society in a big way, but it's keeping them under control into Kali's grip. And gambling, it fully agitates the mind in big ways. Truthfulness goes down. Everyone is lying. You see on Instagram, we're happy. And then, you see it in any restaurant, oh, we're doing so, okay. It's funny, in India, it's the opposite. They come up to you, like, especially if you're Westerner, one snap, please, one snap. Okay, and then they go, yes. So this movement is revolutionary. Why? Like, this four regulated principles is actually going fully against what's being offered by Kali, by the materialistic leaders of this world. They're offering this full, and then we're saying, no, we're gonna live a life that's no meat eating, no intoxication, no illicit sex, and no gambling. And then that's just being human. And then you become transcendental by chanting 16 rounds of Hare Krishna. And then you become like fire, and you start affecting people's lives. Many people, they may have told you when you do books or you meet them, say, you devotees, you're like mirrors. You show like what type of people we're supposed to be. What they'll try and do is disqualify themselves, like, no, I cannot be like you. It's not possible. I cannot be a pure saint. So then, then they disqualify themselves. So we're just trying to qualify them. Can you say Hare Krishna like this? Qualified like this. Then touch the book. Touch it. Have some prasadam. Everyone's ready for prasadam. That's our secret weapon. They may disagree with everything, books, the kirtan, everything. Then you bring prasadam. Oh, so good, Another time I was in like a country town in Australia. I was on my own, playing the drum, doing books. Then one guy from across the road, he goes, "Hi, Hare Krishna." He crosses the road, doesn't even look at the cars, he nearly gets hit by a car. Hare Krishna, wow, so good to see you. Do you have a restaurant? Do you have a restaurant? I just came on my own, He goes, you have some of that halva, mate? You have some of that halva? Oh, I love the taste. Oh, I missed that taste for I haven't tasted that in 20 years. Halva, He's remembered the taste for 20 years. Like that. So prasadam is a big deal. Like, even for devotees. Okay, if you will not have prasadam, like, from now on you're not going to have prasadam next, 1-2 days. You'll leave Krishna consciousness. No one is bringing people into Krishna consciousness. It's keeping devotees in Krishna consciousness, prasadam. You know, it's like, I'm not staying anymore. so many people, they want to leave.
Yeah, you're right.
Yeah, right? They want to leave. They're like, I've had enough of this Hare Krishna. It's too much. I'm fried, I'm going to leave, And then the feast comes. It's like, okay, I'll stay one more day or one more week, So, yes, this is like our three weapons: the holy name, the books, the philosophy, and Krishna Prashanam. We have such a good life, actually. Can you imagine a life without japa? Maybe, I could live, But actually, for someone who chanted 16 rounds for a long time, it's like, no, you can't live without 16 rounds. Imagine a life without kirtan, no more. No. Imagine a life without Prabhupada's books and philosophy. You don't know you're like spiritual. Imagine a life without deities. Imagine a life without devotee association. Imagine a life without prasada. That's the life they're all living. So yes, Prabhupada has made this a preaching movement because he understands he's part of Dukkha Dukhi, that he feels the distress of other people's distress. They are missing out on Krishna. We have him, and we are working and developing our attachment for him. And we may not feel like we're progressing. That's the Maya's trick on us. Oh, why you're trying this so hard? You're not really even making advancement. You might as well just enjoy yourself. Don't know. But that's the trick of Maya. You're making so much progress. Your bhakti is so powerful. It's like when you fly in the plane. The plane, how far is it going? Like 800,000 kilometers an hour.
That's crazy.
And you're feeling like, oh man, this is boring, just sitting here. When are we there? Are we even there yet? You fly so fast. So bhakti is like that. You're on the Goloka Express. And this is the message of the Prabhupada. So we should try and embrace what Prabhupada gave us. The 16 rounds, following 4 good principles, the activities of preaching, devotee association, reading the books, and of course, taking Krishna Prasada. And in this way, by attachment to Krishna, you can be detached from material world. Hare Krishna. Srila Prabhupada ki Jai. Mr. Sutta, you have a question?
Now, what about we do both things?
Yeah,
We
that
combine the best of the both options.
Yeah, so the Srila Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati Thakur, he gives a story of a beggar, and he's really starving, so weak. So he goes to the temple because people are very charitable, but he's so weak, he just holds onto a pillar, He's just like this, holds onto a pillar, like this. And then one man in the temple, he sees, oh, this guy is like so tired. I should give him something, he has some muri, some puff rice, right? So then he goes, here, take this muri, And he's so tired, he's holding onto the pillar, and he's like, just put it in my hand, He puts it in his hand. So he has the muri in his hand, but how is he going to eat it? He's holding onto the pillar. So in the same way, if you have some material attachment while performing bhakti, this is called bhakti without nectar. So you'll be doing devotional service, but you can't experience the nectar of devotional service. So that's what happens when you maintain like material attachment. You bar yourself from enjoying Krishna consciousness.
So you kind of outsource it.
Yeah, and obviously like material attachment, it's very temporary enjoyment. Kind of feel yuck after a while.
So what to do then?
Then devotee, you attach yourself to those who are fully attached to Krishna. And we can do that by associating with Prabhupada, associating with the spiritual master, and praying like anything. That, please allow me to let go of this and be more attached to you, my dear Lord. It's a struggle because we've been in the material for so long. So it's not a surprise that we're attached here. We're like addicts, habituated to go towards material enjoyment. It's kind of normal. So it's a big deal for Krishna to come to him. So we need to pray for help. And bhakti is powerful enough to give us that high taste. Krishna is involved in your life. He'll do something that he'll okay, you're really attached, so we'll shake your will a bit. And you may have felt that before. He, some sort of, it seemed like a crisis at the time. He's like, oh, why is Krishna doing this to me? Why is this happening? And then you chose to take more shelter of Krishna, and then now you're more solidified in serving Krishna. You felt that before?
Yeah.
Yeah. So Krishna will help. He's very active in the relationship. Where am I?
You have been having so many years preaching, and
I've not made one devotee. It's
no,
amazing.
You made thousands of devotees, and you get so much association. We understand we should give, we should not take association. But still, it's such a strong influence. Seeing all these people dancing, dressed, and speaking with them, and I don't know, maybe it's so much interaction. And sadhana sometimes is also flying a little bit behind. Preaching goes before sadhana. Looks like sometimes. So how do you how can you continue? It's maybe guru blessing or whatever, but I don't know.
Yeah, no, this is correct. So pretty much the short answer is to regularly visit the Holy Dham. We go twice a year actually, because we're every day on the street. So it's kind of that radioactive kind of material nature, just you build it up actually, even though you're doing Krishna conscious activity. So I feel that once you enter the Dham, then you just cleanse, and then you're there to receive more blessings. You don't feel like you're on guard from Maya. Maya isn't there, and you're just receiving blessings every time you chant or do some service or associate with devotees or hear a class. So in that way, that's what we do. If you don't have that opportunity, then Prabhupada suggested make sure your health is good. No, there's the three balls you juggle actually. So one is for material, for your physical and mental health. One is sadhana, and one is the mission. So when you juggle, you always have to have one in the air to focus on, right? So then, okay, now we're focusing on the mission, okay, but then we have to catch them now and then focus on sadhana, and then focus on health. But Prabhupada said first health, then sadhana, then service. So, if your health is gone, there's no way you're going to preach. You'll be stressed out, you need to be relaxed, to preach. So.
And if your sadhana is gone, you're going to be gone.
Obviously, yeah. You can't even do sadhana if your health is gone. So that's what we should do. Everyone's body and mind is different. Some people have more energy than others, so they can do more of the mission. Some don't, so then they need more time in their heart to be more effective and stay in Krishna consciousness. So only you can figure it out.
See what works.
Yeah. Usually you need to burn out a few times to figure out where's your limits. But if you do burn out, it doesn't mean you'll never be a devotee. It just means you just need to sleep for 1 week and then get back into it. Okay?
Okay.
Walking.
Thank you. That's good.
Thank you so much. Srila Prabhupada K. Joy.
Joy.
Harinam Sankirtan Ki.
Jai.
Bhagavad Prahlāda Ki.
Jai.
Madhai Jivan Prabhu Ki.
Jai.
Gopramanande.
Go.
Sing the song.
Sarada Vijaya Govindiya Govindiya